Welcome, collectors. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Diecast Emporium. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 4 newest additions to the Diecast Masters Caterpillar 1/64 scale Play and Collect series. Now, before we go any further in this video, if you haven't already seen the entire lineup that's currently offered up until this point of the 1/64 scale Play and Collect series, check out the suggested link right now at the top right portion of your screen. That way, it'll bring you up to speed. You can see everything that's currently on there. Then you can come back and watch this video. All right, so with that out of the way, as you can see right now, these are the 4 brand new models, the 4 new additions for 2020 in the 1/64 scale Play and Collect diecast lineup by Diecast Masters. So we're going to be taking a look at a 1/64 scale Cat CT660 day cab tractor with McNeilus Bridgemaster mixer. We're also going to be taking a look at a 1/64 scale Cat CT660 with an Ox Stampede dump box on it. Finally, we'll be taking a look at 2 Cat CB-13 Tandem Vibratory rollers, one with a cab and one with ROPS. They all come in this style of clear window packaging, where you can see the 4 different types of models on the back. And it says made of die-cast metal, highly detailed moving parts, real cat markings, and colors. The Diecast Masters logo is on the side. And again, the item numbers are at the bottom left portion of the box. In this case, it's 85632 for the concrete mixer. So, with the packaging out of the way, let's begin by taking a look at the rollers first. First one we'll look at is the roller with the enclosed cab. Now, I want to point out at this point that all 4 of these models originated as 1/50th scale models by Diecast Masters. So basically what that means is this is something brand new. And it's not something that we haven't seen before in the history of scale models, but it's something relatively new to this extent and to this high of a quality. And that is where we've taken 1/64 scale models and essentially put them in this magic time shrinking machine and shrunk them down to 1/64 scale. That is certainly the case with the CB-13s specifically. So these CB-13s, again, if you haven't seen the video or if you're not familiar, these originally came out a couple years ago in 1/50th scale, both versions, one with a cab and one with open ROPS. But now there was an outcrying of support from the 1/64 scale community. They wanted these rollers in 1/64 scale, so Diecast Masters listened, and here's the product. Now, I will say this. Oftentimes, you have modeling compromises when you take a bigger model and you shrink it down, and that is true a little bit here. So the 1/50th scale version, you have a much wider range of articulation across the pivot joint, but because of modeling compromises that have to be made when you take something and make it smaller, you don't quite have that wide articulation range, but it does still exist, and honestly, for this small, it works. It's good enough to show the machine paving or rolling across a curve. So it works in this scale, and in this case, it works just fine. In terms of if you're worried about how the paint or the decals might transfer over in that process, nothing to be worried about there. The cat graphics, the headlights, even the bolt detailing, which again is hard to see, but really fantastic, grade A job there. You have the GPS pod up on top. Now, the top does not pop off, and none of these models include Bob, our favorite operating figure. But again, for most collectors, including myself, not a big deal. That's fine there. Taking a look underneath, again, not a whole lot of detail, but here you can see the range of articulation and the offset paving that's available there. So that's the roller with the cab. This is the roller with the ROPS, which again, if you are not familiar or you're watching this video for the first time, first off, welcome. Secondly, ROPS is an acronym that stands for Rollover Protection Structure, and this is the type of roller that we see here in the States most often. The cab, or the closed-off roller, is more of a European-style design. But yeah, this is, again, the exact same casting, just a little bit different type of cab, if you will, over it. But again, same range of functionality, same level of detail. Honestly, it's really up to you as to which of the 2 you want to add to your collection. If not, add both. They're both the same price. They retail for about $18 to $20, somewhere in that range. Very affordable for most collectors, and well worth the money, in my opinion. So those are the 2 CB-13 rollers. let's take a look at the CT660s now. First one we'll look at is the CT660 with the McNeilus Bridgemaster mixer. So at first glance, this would just be a great looking static model, even if it did nothing. But of course, that's not what Diecast Masters is all about. This is a fully functional model. So not only does the drum move, but there's actually some hefty weight to this, helped along by the fact that the drum is metal. You are also given 2 chute extensions. One extension is already on the chute right now. Here's the second one. So let's put it on real quick. Just snaps on like that. You can move the chute a full range, left or right. And you can drop, let's do this real quick. You can drop the axle, which we should probably do before we put the chute extensions on. But you can drop the axle all the way down, and it's grounded with the rest of the wheels. Amazing in 1/64 scale. So we've got that back out of the way. Let's add our 2 extensions back on, which, as you saw before, you can even fold those out of the way, just like this, if you didn't want to have them. Here's the underside of the truck. Rubber tires that roll freely, detailed metal die-cast chassis, tanks, steps here, nice exhaust, mirrors, detailed interior, and of course, the famous CT660 cat grille. The stairs here are modeled just for detail. They're not functional. But again, almost everything that you'd want in a concrete mixer, it's here, it works, and the mud flaps are even rubber and flexible. So, we'll let that spin around one more time so you can get a good profile of the truck. I gotta say, in terms of value, and there's a lot of concrete mixers out there on the market at 1/64 scale. Greenlight makes some, First Gear makes some, just to name a couple other ones. But in terms of bang for your buck, pure value, none of them offer the value that Diecast Masters can offer you with this truck. The Greenlight truck basically does nothing. It's a static model with limited to no functionality. And this is about the same price, and you get chute extensions, a chute that moves, a drum that moves, and a drop axle. You're basically, your decision's made. So, also, this ushers in kind of a new era for Diecast Masters. We've seen it before with the 1/50th scale trucks, but not only do you have a licensed truck with the Cat CT660, but now you have a licensed body. It's not a generic mixer. This is a licensed McNeilus Bridgemaster concrete mixer. You get 2 licenses on one vehicle. It's unheard of. For this value, it's amazing. So, that's the concrete mixer. Speaking of 2 licensees on one vehicle, here is the debut in any scale of the oxbody dump on a vehicle. We will see these oxbodies on Diecast Masters 1/50th scale trucks coming very soon, but this is the debut in any scale, and it is on also a Cat CT660 dump truck. So, it's safe to say at this point that the legacy of the CT660 in the model community has way outlasted its legacy of its real-life counterpart. But again, bang for your buck, quality, metal component, metal dump box. You can't beat this. The truck and the cement mixer are around $25. Again, the rollers are about $18, give or take. But it's great value. And here is the functionality of the dump box, which goes up to about here. And your tailgate will swing plenty wide enough to get whatever dirt, sand, or rocks, or whatever material you have in there out. So you think that's it? That's all it does? Wrong. Here's a pleasant surprise about this truck, and something that we've never seen before, especially in 1/64 scale. And again, this is going to be something that's new and that we will continue to see as we see more oxbody trucks come out in the future. Check out this little surprise. See these? Any guesses? Anybody? These are mud flaps. The Cat mud flaps, you can take off. Just like this. With little holes right here. and you can put the oxbody ones on if you want. What a cool idea. And just to show you, these are what the oxbody ones look like. So they say, as strong as an ox body, and it's got the ox, Fayetteville, Alabama, and then their phone number. To put it on, hopefully this will cooperate since we're kind of live on camera here. You just push it in over the 2 holes, and you are good to go. It's really very simple. It works out well. And now you have a different mud flap on. You see that there? And there are 2 different kinds provided. So the smaller ones go up in front of the drop axle. The larger ones go behind the rear wheels. I, for one, was pleasantly shocked to find out about that little surprise when I cracked these open. And it's something that you would never think of, but it's so simple and so cool. It just gives you added display possibilities. And obviously you can change them up if you want cats in the rear and ox bodies in the front, or vice versa. It just gives you different posing opportunities. So there you have it, collectors. That will conclude this video of the 4 brand new Diecast Masters 1/64 scale series play and collect models. Gotta say, I've said it a few times in this video, and I mean it. It's great value for the money. These will make excellent holiday gifts for any 1/64 scale collector of almost any age. I would like to say and to see this in the future. We have rollers now. We have a proper on-highway dump truck now. I would love to see this idea of taking already made 150 scale cat models and shrinking them down to 1/64 scale continue. We've got the dump truck. We've got the roller now. I would love to see a coal planer. I would love to see an asphalt paver. That way, those collectors in 1/64 scale can complete their paving fleets and have rollers, pavers, and coal planers as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you all so much. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll see you in the next review.